You wake up in the morning in the United States, or anywhere really, and before your mind even fully wakes up, your hand already reaches for the phone. The room is still quiet, your thoughts are still soft, but your screen is already loud. Notifications, short videos, endless scrolling, messages that don't even matter yet still pull your attention like gravity. It feels harmless in the moment, just a few minutes of checking, but psychology says something very different is happening inside your brain before your day even begins. In the first moments after waking up, your brain is not fully in decision mode. It is transitioning between sleep and alertness, which means it is highly sensitive to input. Whatever you consume at that time doesn't just entertain you, it shapes your emotional tone for the entire day. When the first thing you see is fast-moving content, comparisons, random opinions, or overstimulating visuals, your mind doesn't start calm or structured. It starts reactive. And a reactive mind doesn't lead the day, it follows it. Scrolling in the morning feels so natural because of how your brain is wired. Every swipe gives a small dopamine reward, a tiny hit of pleasure that keeps you going just a little longer. But in the morning, your brain hasn't faced the day yet, so it is more responsive to stimulation. That's why 5 minutes can turn into 30 without you realizing it. It is not a lack of discipline in the way people usually think. It is a reward system being triggered before your self-control systems are fully active. What most people don't realize is that this habit quietly steals the most powerful part of the day. The early hours after waking are when your focus capacity is at its highest. Your mind is fresh, your attention is not fragmented yet, and your ability to plan, create, or think deeply is naturally stronger. But when you flood that state with endless digital input, you are basically training your brain to consume instead of create. And once your brain gets used to consuming first, starting meaningful tasks later feels heavier than it should. There is also something deeper happening that psychology calls attention residue. Even after you put the phone down, your mind doesn't fully leave the content you just consumed. A part of your attention is still stuck in those videos, those posts, those random updates. So when you try to work, study, or even think clearly, your brain is partially divided. You are present physically, but mentally scattered. And that scattered feeling is what many people describe as low motivation without realizing where it comes from. This morning scrolling habit also quietly shapes identity, because the brain learns from repetition more than intention. If the first repeated action of your day is passive consumption, your brain begins to associate mornings with distraction rather than direction. Over time, you don't just scroll in the morning, you become someone who starts the day reactively instead of intentionally. And that identity sticks more strongly than any motivation quote ever will. But what is interesting is that the solution doesn't require extreme discipline or complicated routines. It starts with something very small but powerful: delay. Not elimination, just delay. When you give yourself even a short gap between waking up and picking up your phone, you interrupt the automatic loop. In that gap, your mind slowly wakes up on its own terms instead of being pulled into external noise. That small moment becomes a reset point where you regain control before the world takes it away. In that space, your brain starts to stabilize. Thoughts become clearer, breathing becomes slower, and your internal pace returns. This is where real productivity actually begins, not with pressure, but with clarity. People often think productivity is about doing more, but psychology shows it starts with reducing mental noise. And morning scrolling is one of the fastest ways to create that noise before your day even begins. When you replace those first minutes with something simple like sitting in silence, stretching, drinking water, or just letting your thoughts organize naturally, something subtle shifts. You stop reacting and start choosing. That shift might feel small, but it is actually the difference between a day that controls you and a day that you control. Because once your mind experiences calm first, it begins to seek calm throughout the day instead of chaos. Over time, this change builds momentum. After a few days of not reaching for your phone immediately, you may notice something unexpected. Your focus lasts longer. Your decisions feel lighter. Even tasks that used to feel heavy don't hit with the same resistance. It is not that your life suddenly changed. It is that your brain is no longer starting every day in a state of overstimulation. And a calm start naturally leads to a more structured middle. The truth is, most people don't struggle with productivity because they lack ability. They struggle because their attention is being divided before they even realize it. The phone is not the enemy, but unconscious usage is. When the first interaction of your day is controlled by something outside of you, the rest of the day often follows the same pattern. But when the first interaction is chosen by you, even something small, everything else feels more intentional. And maybe that is the real shift here. Not becoming perfect, not quitting technology, not changing your entire lifestyle overnight. Just reclaiming the first few minutes of your morning. Because in those minutes, your brain is still forming its direction. And direction in the beginning quietly decides the quality of everything that follows. So the next time you wake up and feel that automatic pull toward your phone, it is worth remembering that your day hasn't started yet in the way you think it has. The first thing you give your attention to is not just a habit, it is a signal. And that signal tells your brain what kind of day it is about to have. If you change the signal, even slightly, you don't just change your morning, you slowly change the way your mind learns to live each day.